Hi everyone, it's B.Chavez from EvilGenius Sports Performance. I'd like to welcome you to a new edition of the EvilGSP Video Blog, and this section will be called, imaginatively enough, the EvilGSP Question and Answer section. So what I'm going to do is just take 5, maybe 6 questions that I collect each week or every so many weeks, however often they come in, from various social media outlets, put them together, clean them up, and then cut a quick video. I do answer all of these questions. I do answer every person, but for the most part, I answer every question that's sent to me via social media and email and what have you. But some of them are so general and so repetitively asked that I thought I'd put them together into a video format, and just for extra material and for a video reference. So here we are, EvilGSP question and answer session. First question, I'm going to leave these anonymous again because they're relatively generic, and multiple people have asked kind of the same question. So, if you've asked this or wondered this, you know who you are. If not, hold on till the next. Question is, I know from your video blog series you are a staunch proponent of periodization. Could such a strategy be used by a devout CrossFitter to improve squat, bench, deadlift, powerlifting total while doing CrossFit? First and foremost, almost any time I get a question that involves the words CrossFit, I just push delete. I get rid of it. I will, in fact, answer this one because the person who did send this to me is a big follower of EvilGSP and interacts a lot with all the social media stuff. So I feel compelled to answer it. My first response is I just don't think about CrossFit. CrossFit is an un-issue to me. I think it's kind of silly. That's just unfortunately my feeling. As far as applying periodization to it, of course, absolutely, because as I've said in all of my previous videos, periodization is inherent in everything. Whether you think you do it or not, you do it. Just the simple fact that you said, hey, I'd like to raise my squat, bench, and deadlift, and then perhaps even added a time frame. Say, by January I want to, or by X or by Y, you just periodized. Now, whether or not you take the necessary steps to implement the science behind how to get to where you want to go, that's a different business. But you've already outlined that you want to do that, so you periodized. I am not hugely versed in CrossFit because, as I've said, not a big fan. But basically, the real general approach here would be define probably the minimum CrossFitting you could do, say whatever that is, 2 or 3 classes per week, or scheduled workouts per week. Really minimize your CrossFitting, and then implement the power lifts. Say you CrossFitted 3 times per week. Let's just say randomly Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Begin Monday's workout with powerlifting squat. Say maybe 5 sets of 5. Fixed weight, fixed rest period. You're doing it purely for the expression of strength. You're not doing it as part of your CrossFit. Almost think of it as your warm-up to your CrossFit. Follow that, 5 sets of 5. Then do the absolute minimum of what you need to do CrossFit-wise. Wednesday, same scenario, except begin with, say, 5 sets of 5 in the bench press. And then the CrossFit to follow. Wednesday, deadlift, CrossFit. So you've done all 3 competitive lifts, plus 3 CrossFit workouts, and you've done the strength training or the powerlifting portion first. So you've got the maximum expression of strength and then fitness behind it. Say do 2 weeks of 5 by 5, 2 weeks of 3 sets of 4 or something like that, and then 2 weeks of 2 sets of 2, and then single, and you probably have raised your lifts, and then begin to cycle again, or some scenario similar to. You could even stretch those out to 3 or 4 week blocks if you have enough time. It depends. Again, periodization is all about setting a regimented goal structure and then filling in the necessary training steps to meet it. But that's roughly how I would do that. Shame on you for asking me a CrossFit question, but hopefully that's a succinct enough answer. Yes, you can apply periodization to CrossFit. Yes, you should. And to some degree you do, even if you don't think you do. So, on to the next question. Let's see here. I'm reading kind of past the camera. You mentioned in your most recent blog that you recommend 2 to 3 grams per kilogram of protein. Many experts give a much higher guideline. Have you found the need for higher levels, perhaps in chemically enhanced athletes? As I said in that video, no. No, I really don't. All of the research I've found, Dr. Marudi Pasquale, Lyle McDonald, on and on and on, all of the college studies, everything I've found consistently goes between 1.8 and about 3.2, roughly 2 to 3 grams per kilogram. And any studies that show higher than that, I suspect the additional benefit is probably not from the protein, but probably from components of the protein-laden food, such as eating more meat brings more saturated fat, which could in fact benefit performance, especially on that high level. But as far as nitrogen, I really haven't found a need for anything more than 3. To be honest, very, very, very few people need that much. Most people excel well under that in the 2 gram per kilogram range. And as a matter of fact, as far as the chemically enhanced part, chemically enhanced athletes consume more protein by virtue of they are simply typically larger athletes because they're chemically enhanced. But as far as needing more per kilogram, no. It's in fact quite the opposite. Performance enhancement, specifically anabolic steroids, testosterone and anabolic steroids, work their magic mainly by making the body particularly nitrogen efficient. They're more nitrogen efficient. Upon exercise, there's less protein degradation, which makes them more nitrogen efficient, and then a quicker turnover and repair of nitrogen. So there's less total wasted protein, less stripped away or catabolic actions per workout. So as far as somebody trying to tell you need more protein because you're taking steroids, no. You only would need more protein because your mass has gone up, which does definitely happen, but it's not a more per kilogram. It's just simply more because you are more. So there's a quick touch on that. That question, by the way, comes up a lot. That's probably one of the top 10 most asked questions I get. My stance on protein intake apparently very, very debatable. I don't see it that way. Next question. I have been following you, EvilGSP, on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and just recently found the EvilGSP Google Plus page. Wonderful. It appears you spend more time, perhaps most of your time, posting material to G+. Why? Yes, I'm guilty. Why? A bunch of reasons. One, just weird chance, kind of like me in the metric system. I moved around a lot as a child, and I learned the metric system, and then the next day I guess I was supposed to learn the English system, and I never did. And so I was the weird knucklehead that wandered around for the first 15 years of their life thinking that's how the world measured things, and it didn't turn out that way. With the Google Plus, it's just I kind of learned the world of computers and internet all by myself, and that's what I found first. And because it was what I found first, it was comfortable to me, and it's what I use. And I've been with Google Plus, I guess, probably since it started, just very comfortably. And also, I do all of my work, with Google Drive and Google Documents and all that. So it's all very synchronized, and it's very easy for me to work. All of my materials Googled, so it's just very easy for me to Google. And yes, I do spend the predominance of my time because, as like these videos, I post to YouTube and everything's so easily integrated. It's just very easy for me to move material back and forth and tie material together. And then one other reason is, for whatever reason, the EvilGSP brand is particularly strong in Europe. A lot of people in the UK, a lot of people in Germany, Eastern Europe, and it just so happens it seems that they're a little more Google savvy than Facebook. So I use it easily, and I seem to get really good feedback. So yes, I do try to maintain the Facebook and the Twitter and that stuff, but no, I probably don't do as good a job. Yes, I probably do put the predominance of material on G+, and it's just the way it is. I like it. It works, and the simple fact that you found me tells me that it is in fact working. So let's just pass the material around. Everybody can move it everywhere, and the world of social media should tie up all the loose ends, and I'll continue doing this, and you continue moving it along out there. So, next question. I have watched many of Team EvilGSP's squat videos on your YouTube channel, And I've noticed that not you or any of your athletes look up while squatting. Is that a coached technique? Probably coached technique is not the right word. The right wording is, I certainly coach athletes not to look up. That's stupid. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that started. I don't know if that was a West Side invention or what, but you absolutely positively should not look up while squatting. That's dumb. Squatting requires a certain amount of balance and control, and the only way you can really get that is to have a fixed focal point, visual acuity focal point. You would look up maybe if you were jumping toward a basketball hoop or something, or volleyball net. You might want to look up because that's where you're going. But in a squat, you're not leaving the ground. You're not going up. It's stupid. I typically look pretty much down, actually at the head judge's feet. I don't know why I picked that up, but that's what I do. But you definitely don't want to look up. That's just goofy. It puts your spine in a dumb position. It makes it hard to hold and control the bar. It's just really not good at all. I think Mark Ripto also is with me on that as far as actually looking down. But most of my athletes, it's point of fact, they look straight ahead. Either, if they're squatting in a squat rack with a mirror, they look into the mirror, or if they're squatting, free, they typically look at the judge's feet. Just seems to be where most people land, and that's a good idea. Looking up is dumb. Same thing with the deadlift. People are craning, looking way up at the sky. Put your spine in a very super positive position that it's not supposed to be in. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. You hear people screaming at all the time at powerlifting meets, look up, look up. No, there's nothing up there to see. Pick up the bar. Do that. No, dumb. So not coached, but in fact coached against doing that. So depending on how you want to word that, yes, no. Last question here. Let's see. Moving through these pretty quick. I saw on your blog and your EvilGSP Facebook page that you recently tore your pec. How did that happen, and how goes the recovery? Well, I'm glad you're reading the blog, and thanks for asking. Not often are people interested in my well-being. That's kind of neat. I did. I put not a severe tear, partial tear, my right pec at the insertion. I had been doing a big cycle of bench pressing because of the foot injury about a year ago. My squat isn't what it was, and I'm not able to devote myself to the squat like I once could. So I put more effort into the bench, and I did a big cycle beginning with 10 sets of 10, and I worked all the way up to 275 for 10 sets of 10, which to me is a great weight. Then transitioned into some lower sets and rep ranges, and brought everything together to a single. And right around my birthday, was right around the 1st of November, my birthday being the 6th. So it was just after my birthday. I singled at what my intended goal was 440. Did that very easily. Did a 455, really not expecting to get it. And in fact, I did. Little squirrely, little uneven lockout, but a clean, unassisted, unaided 455 bench. Touch and go, no pause on that. The 440 I did pause. The 455 was touch and go. But nonetheless, still the best bench of my life, and I was very excited, very wound up, and I felt really good. My joints, my connective tissue, everything felt really good. And so the goal was, as with most of my heavy workouts, after I do heavy single, I do an over heavy or over limit negative. Typically, human body's capable of 30 to 40% additional load in a negative motion rather than positive, so I felt fairly safe. Probably went a little apeshit with the weight, but anyway, 495, 500 pounds, and took it out of the rack myself, position, lowered it to my chest, and everything was fine. It didn't feel great. Of course, it's a quarter of a ton. It's very heavy. In a raw bench, that's a lot, especially for something that's not particularly bench exceptional. Bar touched my chest, and just as my spotters were coming in to take the bar, as they should have, I really gassed it. I pushed as hard as I could. Just thought I'll see what happens. And what happened is it was about 50 pounds too much load for my pec insertion. I moved the bar about 2 inches, and my right pec just went limp. It was only a very minor tear where everything comes together at the insertion. The muscle fiber tore back about 1 centimeter. Nothing requiring surgery or anything of that nature. As a matter of fact, here we are 5 weeks later, and I am in fact benching not heavy, not even a lot of volume, but I'm doing them, so everything's going to be fine. Not a big deal. I did PR with a 440 pause and a 455 touch and go, but a 495 negative did in fact kick my ass. But no worries, and to be honest, I'm actually really proud of it. Never before in my life has my bench press been good enough to harm me. This is the first time I've actually had a bench press injury from doing everything right and just using a lot of weight. So in reality, I'm actually pretty excited. Feel very good about the future. I will see that 500-pound raw bench. And that concludes the EvilGSP question and answers. So I thank all of you who asked questions. I strongly hope that you all ask more questions. You can find us on, again, Facebook, Google+, Twitter, YouTube, direct by email, B.Chavez at EvilGSP.com. Please don't hesitate. Ask whatever. As long as I have the time and the question makes sense, I will respond to you. And perhaps some of those questions will make it to the next edition of the EvilGSP question and answer session. Until next time, B.Chavez, Evil Genius Sports Performance. Stay strong.